Hi there, my name is Logan with ThePetsMonk. I'm here located in Columbus, Ohio, and right now I just want to give you a virtual demo of the platform. Obviously, I'm going to go into very much detail in here. You can kind of skip along as you want, but ultimately, I want to show you this platform. And there's a few different things of the platform I'm going to show you today. So I think that there's three parts to a software. I think you have the customer-facing experience, you have the groomer experience, and you have the owner experience or admin. So what we're going to go through is kind of show you the customer experience first. So the customer experience is pretty straightforward like any other platform. So basically you come into here, you can go ahead and sign out, and then the customer would just type in their phone number. So this is, of course, completely customizable. Um, Let me just get logged in here. So this is completely customizable. So I'm going to show you that right now. So you can come in here to settings, customer portal, customization, and we can change the colors. You can change the welcome message here. You can show services, email, address. Everyone's going to do things differently here. You can require an approval for the online booking, or you can make it auto book. For our case, we're just going to keep it as is, just to show you this. So ultimately, what's going to happen here is we can book a new appointment. We can see our previous appointments here, or we can actually go in here and change our details as well as our pet's information. So if we've got Max here, he's an Aussie Doodle, we can go in here and change all those details that we need. Some of this you can make it where they can't change. We're still kind of working on what clients want, but basically, pretty straightforward as they're grooming. This, if they were signing up a new account, a new pet, it would ask all these questions and it would show up. You can mark your own pet as deceased or archived. Again, we're working through this, to see what people want, but so far, this is how we've kind of established it and it works out really good. The customers then can come in here, change the weights around, because if they have a puppy, their puppy changes throughout the times of coming in. And so we think it's important to be able to let them edit their pup. So next up is booking an appointment. So just by clicking book now, we can see what we booked previously. So we booked Walter with the Groomer 2. We're going to book a new appointment. So Max here, he's green because he's got his vaccine. He's good to go. So we're going to click on Max, continue. So Max and any of your customers for that matter are only going to see the services that are applicable to them. So let me go ahead and show you in the settings side of what I mean. So services, we've got all these different services. And so Max is a doodle. And so we're going to go into the doodles and poodles. And if you click on here, because he's listed as a coat type doodle and poodle, he will see the only variations that are applicable to him. So in this case, he's seeing this one for $175. So he's seeing this extra large doodle and poodle for 180 minutes here. Now, if he was a small dog and he was only X amount of weight, then these weight categories, of course, can be customized on your end. But if they fall into whatever category here, that's what it's going to show them. That way it doesn't get confusing. Because ultimately, you don't want to go in for a customer and see a million different prices and think, oh, well, I want mine to be $120. Why are you saying that it's $175? But the system can kind of weed some of that stuff out. They can book a nail clip only, face, feet, fanny, an express bath. Now, obviously, being a doodle and poodle, an express bath wouldn't really be applicable. I've just got it set like that. But you can edit these to make whatever you want shown. You can create whatever services you want. You can change your breed types, your coat types. All of those things are completely customizable in your settings here. So you can change your size categories. You can change your coat types. You could make all of these singled out. You can update the breeds and what their coat types are for you. Your rabies, if it's going to require rabies, are you going to block a booking if they don't have a rabies? All of those things there. And then your intake fields, you can ask whatever questions you want. Special instructions, veterinary name. You can change these things to be whatever you would like, and then you can make it required or not. So anyways, I'm just going to go through here. We're going to schedule a full groom. So next up, you're going to see that we can pick whatever staff. We're going to click the Groomer 2. You can have your add-ons. So again, these add-ons are pretty straightforward. This is based on, we want our services and then our add-ons. So for the ear basic trim, the basic ear trim, you basically can make this available to all pets, or you can add variations where, for certain dogs, maybe certain breeds, maybe it's certain coat types, and then maybe it costs more for certain breeds or whatever it might be. So that's how that all works. Or you can make it where it's available to all pets. So ear cleaning, that's probably available to all. But then you can also make it available to certain services as well. So that's from our, so if we go into the full deluxe room here, we can actually select what add-ons are available. So you can make which ones are going to show up here, or you can remove them. So obviously for a bath, you might have different add-ons in a full. So that's kind of how we've done that. So again, I'm just going over the online booking right now. I don't want to overcomplicate things. We're just going to continue. We're going to pick Wednesday, June 24th at 9 a.m. So again, you see 9 a.m. And the reason you see 9 a.m. is because we have certain booking types. And let me just go ahead and put this in here. So alternate number if they want for text, bad for dryer, whatever the terms might be there, confirm booking. So now it's just sent a booking confirmation on our end. I'm just going to go through the customer side of things still though, so just bear with me a second. So basically we've got this coming in. We've just scheduled it. We have our refer program, which is unique to the PetsMonk. Essentially, if I share this code, I'll get a $10 credit, and then whoever I share this code with will get $10 off their groom. That is completely customizable. That's actually in our growth here, so our referral program. So you can make it be a percentage refer reward, and then your new customer discount can be a percentage or a fixed amount. And then you can make limits on this, minimum bookings before they can refer, maximum referrals per month, or you can make it unlimited. Whatever you want to do, everyone's going to do this differently. That's the referral program. Now we're going to go back to home. So let's say, I don't know if you've experienced this, but someone goes in, they book an appointment, and then they go on, they look at some more, and they're like, oh, wait, actually, I want a different date instead. They can actually cancel this request. So right now it's showing as a booking came in, but we can cancel this as a customer, which is nice because the company hasn't approved this yet. So by us canceling this, it doesn't really impact the business at all because we haven't really went through those requests yet. So we can either cancel it or the groomers can go ahead and approve it. We're going to go ahead and approve this. We can see all the details here. Everything, the bad for the dryer notes. We can see the estimated time frame, the pet, all of the different things about this customer. We can reschedule it right from here. We can void it, we can decline it, or we can approve it. We're going to go ahead and approve it right now. And then the reason why I'm doing that is I want to show you something here. So now you see here it says call to make changes. Now that is something that again is unique to us as well. The cancellation window, let me just make this to 24 hours real quick. I just want to show you this. So we've changed the time. So now that the appointment's been approved, the customer can go in here and they have options. If it's within 24 hours or whatever you choose right here, they can go ahead and reschedule it themselves or cancel themselves. So if you say, hey, if it's 2 days out, I don't care if they cancel or reschedule on their own. Maybe it's a week out, maybe it's 2 weeks out, maybe it's a day out, whatever it is, they can go in here, reschedule or cancel. So why is that helpful? Well, as a groomer, like there's times that if someone's going to reschedule constantly and they're, just messaging you a million times, they've scheduled 3 appointments, whatever it is, let them do the work. Now, obviously, if it's within a certain amount of time, you don't want them to be able to do that. And so that's where it says call to make changes. Again, that's all based on how you want to do it as your business runs, but there's very much options there. So now that we've shown you the customer side of things, you can see all your previous, you can pay right here. You could do whatever you have to do. Obviously, if Stripe was up, you'd click pay, the payment portal would pop up. They can add the tip right here, very simple. But when they click pay, it's actually going to default to whatever you choose, whether that's 15, 20, or 25, and then it's going to open up Stripe to pay. We are working with Square as well to integrate with, and then you can also take cash or payment. This is just the customer's online portal. So some groomers, they don't take any credit cards. They only send this out via the portal, and then they can pay right there. So I'm going to show you how that works as well. So now that we've went through the customer side of things, I think it's important to show you that we've kept that intentionally simple. So there's a lot of things you can do for the customer to make their experience different. You can add coupons. We've got a referral program. We've got our review booster and collection. We've got our communication, our booking alerts, our waivers. You can require waivers up front. You can send waivers in advance, whether it's a matting agreement or just your general service agreement. We've got our notifications here. So if you want to get a notification, you can get that right to your phone or your desktop. your communications here. So if you want to send out a text message, you can do that. We've got all of our templates. We've got all of our previous logs, so you can see what's been sent. You can see if you've got WhatsApp, you can use that. Text, you can see what those look like. So for example, we'll preview here what these look like, and then you can edit them with all these additional personalizations. So that's obviously really important. If you're on the free plan, you can actually send free email recurring updates and notifications if you don't have a paid plan. Now, if you get into the paid plan, you can actually send text notifications, which is pretty cool. And then you can actually import your phone number from other providers, assuming that they use a Twilio carrier, which most do. You can import a phone number there, and we can connect it here and kind of use this as a CRM. So next up, let's go into, I want to make this easy for everyone. Let's go in from an admin perspective, or a groomer perspective, I should say. So you've got your dashboard here. And, again, there's so much to this platform. I don't want to confuse anyone. I don't want to, there's going to be a lot of info here. I just want to show everything. So that way, if you do have any questions during a demo, we can touch on that. Of course, you can book a demo call at any point just by clicking on this, and then we'll book a demo with you. So here you can see all your bookings. You can see your reviews, your referrals, your revenue. Now, obviously, this is a demo account, not a whole lot of revenue. You can see your platform impact. So you can see your rebooking revenue, your referral revenue, your reviews, total growth revenue today, and what reminders and follow-ups. So we can come in here and see due dates, what might be up. You can see vaccinations that might be expired, and some of those things. We're working on this follow-up. It's kind of a rebooking engine, if you will. And then we've got we have our team, our staff members. So something in here, you can go in, you can, say, hey, this groomer doesn't do giant dogs. They don't do extra large dogs. They don't do large dogs. They don't do medium large dogs. They only do medium, small, and extra small. We all know groomers like that. They only take on the smaller dogs. Maybe you yourself do that. So you can do that. Maybe they don't groom certain coats. Maybe that's wired if they don't do hand stripping. Maybe you create a coat type called hand stripping. You can be whatever you want. You can exclude certain breeds here. Maybe it's doodles, maybe it's schnauzers, maybe it's a certain type of breed that a groomer doesn't feel comfortable with. Then, of course, you can do whether or not they're accepting new clients. So what's really cool about the services of accepting new clients is that if Johnny's a new client and he's never booked with the Groomer 2, then Johnny cannot book with them. Now, let's say that Sean, though, has booked with the Groomer 2 in the past. Then even if this isn't shown, existing clients can still book with that groomer, but new clients cannot. So it forces new clients to book with newer groomers, if you will. You obviously have services here. So now you can show if it's just a bather, you can turn off certain services. Maybe it's only the express bath that shows. Maybe it's the face, feet, and fanny that shows. Maybe it's the nail clip only that shows. Whatever that might be, they can do that, which is really nice. They can create a schedule. So it can be rotating bi-weekly. It can be tri-weekly, or it can be every 4 weeks, or it can just be weekly. You can do, you can kind of adjust this however you want. You can change the hours, so on and so forth. They can block hours, so we can block out on a calendar. We can do recurring blocks. We can do, so if they want to take off a repeated every single Monday from 2 to 4, whatever that might be, they can do that. They can take off certain hours. They can do that. Now you can make that where it's a request, and then you as an owner can approve that. There's a lot of flexibility in here as well. And then you can load their attendance as well. So if they've clocked in here and clocked out, that'll show up here, so you can see their attendance as well. And that's good for a payroll report. So next we've got our attendance here. So again, you can load that for all staff or certain staffs, and you can show, let's see if I can, I don't know if so there you can see what day they've clocked in, when they've clocked out, some of those things. You can edit it if they've forgotten to clock out, for example, like in this case, 54 hours, they clearly made a mistake here. They've clocked out several days later. So that can be adjusted. You've got your payroll, so you can, see your hourly rates here. So let's say that, the Groomer 1 gets paid $18 an hour. Maybe the Groomer 2 is not on hourly. Maybe it's commission only. And then they get 100% tips, whatever that is, based on how you run your business. And then next, we've got our business. So we've got our organization settings. So of course, you can change your name, your contact number, your address, your booking currency, pounds, kilograms, whatever. And then now here's a really important aspect here. So as when we were booking there, you saw the 9 a.m. appointment available. And so what's interesting is it shows you can either show all available times or you can show only the next available time per groomer. So we have it set up where it shows only the next available time per groomer. Because a 9 a.m. was open, you couldn't have booked later in the day because you don't want gaps in your schedule. So it shows only the next available time. It ends up working really well. But ultimately, what that looks like is if I were to book a new appointment and I wanted to book with the Groomer 2 again, and I wanted to go on Wednesday the 24th, it's going to show me at 12 o'clock. And that's because on the 24th, there's already an appointment from 9 to 12. So you can't book another 9 a.m. appointment because the system understands that. And so that's based on showing only the next available time. Now you could show all available times and essentially 9 a.m. till 12 would show blocked out and they could pick maybe a 4 p.m. or a 3 p.m. It won't let the system book a customer that has a 3-hour time frame of a dog at 5 p.m. if you close at 5 p.m. It'll book them at 2 p.m. It's very smart with that. It doesn't, the idea here is to reduce gaps and ensure that the system is booking to increase your efficiency in a shop. The other way is capacity, which is slot based. So basically they can say, hey, I want to take on 4 dogs at 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. or 9 a.m., whatever that is. A lot of groomers do that. We're still working on that, but right now it does work efficiently, and that's something that we continue to expand on. Next, you can obviously have the types of services. So whether you service cat or dogs, or maybe you do reptiles, then you can set your tax rates based on your state and your local laws. You can have your invoice prefixes, your default invoice notes, your tax IDs, all of these things if you want to include the tax for this. And then you can auto-generate invoices. So that's all a lot of straightforward stuff in the organization system. Of course, we can customize things such as the different fields that people can sign up with. So right here it says alternate number. If you want them to put in here, maybe it's contact or secondary contact or emergency contact, wherever you want that to be. Service categories, you can have, perhaps you've got full services, bath services, add-on services. You can kind of categorize those as such. Pretty straightforward there. And then, of course, we've got our different types of coat types, our breeds, our vaccinations. And in our vaccinations, we can require where it blocks booking or not. So if they don't have it, they can't book. If they do have it, they can book. That's something you can do. You can add other vaccinations as well. Intake fields, I kind of already touched on that. Then, of course, your breeds, you can make these say whatever you want. Maybe you split out doodles specifically, whatever that is. You can change these size categories and whatnot. Next, we have our holidays. So if we want to add, let's say Christmas Day, maybe it repeats every year. Maybe it's multiple days. Maybe you take off from the Christmas to New Year's every year. Whatever you do, you can make that a thing. And then it just won't let anyone book. So next up, we've got our services I kind of touched on. Again, you can easily add new services, change pricing. You can show which staff is available for that. So you can do that on the staff level, or you can do it here and choose whether or not the Groomer 1 can, offer those services or not. So that's kind of nice. You can have your bundles and packages. So essentially this is a subscription. So maybe it is nail trim monthly and 1 nail trim per month. Sorry for my misspelling. And then maybe it's $25 a month. You can adjust that, and then every 30 days, then it would recharge them. And then in here, essentially, you would have the nail clip included. And then that is a package, basically one session they get. It's $25 a session, and then it's every 30 days. So that's something you can do, one nail trim per month. So that's the packages. You can also do bundles where maybe you offer, buy 5, get 1, whatever that is. There's a lot of flexibility in there that we're still expanding on as well. We've got our retail, so it can manage your products and its inventory as well as pricing. You can say how your SKU numbers, tax rate, category, all those things, and then you can manage your inventory really easily right here. You can adjust how much. You can see right here, total products, out of stock, low stock, and we're working with some beta testers in that to expand on that as well. Next, we have our payment options. We've already went through our customer facing. So you can accept cash, card, or they can do a QR code where they basically accept it in person. And then online payments, like I said, we have Stripe. We are working with Square. That should be live within the coming days. So by the time you see this, it should be live. You can, of course, add your Stripe API keys and automate that. We can also help you with that as well. Tips, you can see this. So essentially we can enable it, and then we can highlight a specific tier, so that way it automatically pops up on a certain tier. And then let's say that you do nail trims and it's $25. You can have amounts rather than percentages, because 10% of $25 is $2.50. But maybe you just put in 2, 5, or 8, whatever it is. And then this is what it would look like down here. So those are the tip settings. Eventually, we're going to make it fun and creative, but for now, that's what it is. We are working on a daycare and a boarding module as well. Next, we've got our growth. So we have our review collection. So you can add in your Google review page, your Facebook review, and your Yelp review pages. And then ultimately, after the groom, if they rate it a 5, then they can go ahead and leave a 5-star review on your Google, Facebook, or Yelp. If they leave less than, then it will not pop up. We have a referral program, which I have just shown you. You can activate it or deactivate it. And then you have your coupons, which you can do anything that you possibly like. You can make a percentage, fixed amount, descriptions, expiration date, amount per limit, total usage limit, max discount caps, whatever you need to do. So that is our main settings. Next, I want to show you some reporting here. So I think reporting is a very important thing, maybe not for the groomers, but for the owner admins that, keep records of the groomers. You can manage your bookings here. So you can see all the bookings. You can see which ones were canceled, ready for pickup, completed. You can sort it by status. You can search by, maybe you want to search by nail clips only. You can do that. You can search by the groomer 1. You can search that. You could search it by customer, LeBron James. So these are all things that a lot of other platforms don't have, which is a universal search. It's very nice. You can export a CSV. Anything you type in will be searched. Next up, we have our staff utilization. So this essentially says, of the total staff, how many bookings, how many hours worked, how many hours were they scheduled for, which is the available hours, and then average utilization. It's a good way to monitor your groomers and see what the reporting looks like. You can track it by month, week, date, custom range, whatever, and also you can export that. Next up, we've got our reviews. So obviously you can see all the reviews that came in. You can see the feedback, whether they're left no feedback, response rate, total reviews, whatever that looks like, you can do that. And then you can search by 1 stars, 5 stars, whatever. Next up, we have our growth. So we have our referrals report. So this is essentially who used those reward links. And then so if somebody typed in your reward code, you can track all of that very easily. And then attribution. So here you can see where customers came in, whether they came in, what type of device they used to schedule, what channel. Was it Facebook? Was it Google? Was it Instagram? All of those things. And then next up, we've got our customer revenue. So we can see which customer had the total amount spent, their average amount per visit, and then you can actually see the total amount spent right here. And then you can see that there was $805 on 7 appointments. You can see the last visit of each customer as well. And then you can also see here, you can segment by active customers, those that are at risk, those that are lapsed, those that are new customers, those are VIPs. You can also segment into additional filters, and then you can create segments there as well and move them into that. Next, you can see the tips that were earned. Pretty straightforward. You can see, I haven't taken any payments on this demo account, but you can see all the staff here and then how much tips they've earned in a certain time period. You can see, of course, attendance records again, and then the payroll. So let's say that you want to run payroll for this month. Let's go. So here, if it was hourly and they were categorized as hourly, you would see how many hours based on their hourly pay. So if they're $18 an hour times 54 hours, that's what's going to show up here. If they're commission only, then it wouldn't show an hourly rate. It would just show a commission rate. If it was tips, you would see that as well. And so all that's straightforward right there in the reports. Next up, we have our financial. So we can see how payments were collected, and all of those things, which ones were successful, pending, failed, whatever. And then you can see payments that are due and past due. So that's pretty nice to see, keep up with customers. So that's our reporting and our settings. So we're at 25 minutes now. I'm going to try to just go through the rest of this pretty quickly. So next we have our follow-ups. So again, if we have vaccines that are going to be expired soon, we have lapsed customers. We can see them there. And then the system will automatically send booking requests and kind of workflows based on that. We're expanding on this as we speak. I expect that to be live soon as well. Next, you can see all the invoices here. You can see which ones are due. And then you can click into that, see that invoice. You can record a payment if you take cash. You can email the invoice again. You can edit the charges if you need to. You can do all of those things. You can also download. You can email right from here. Real simple, and it just goes to the email and file. So it's just sent to the email and file there. Pretty straightforward. You can see all the different statuses and sort that way. Next, we've got our inbox. So this is pretty straightforward. This is something that we're really going to work on to expand and really make amazing. But right now, it's pretty straightforward. You can see all the messages here. You can write a message. You can send it. It's two-way SMS. So went out as a hi, and if they were to respond, it would come back in here saying hi or whatever it might be. So that's pretty straightforward. We're working on this as we speak as well. And then right from this dashboard, you can view customer. You can book an appointment, log a past visit if they were a walk-in. You can message them, see all their pets, their bookings, their packages, their agreements, their stage history, their customer lead, whatever, their previous communications, and then the referral. So you can see all the SMS. So if someone says, oh, I didn't get that, well, then you can actually go and see who was the recipient, was it sent and delivered, and then was it a manual message or a like a notification. So next up, we've got pets. So we can come in here, we can see, again, we can search by pet name. We can search by client here, and it'll show all the clients' dogs' names. You can search by gender. You can search by literally anything you want. And then you can see which ones are active. You can see deceased, different types of breeds. You can add a pet real easily here. Very straightforward. You can click into it. And then again, here you can see the overview. So Alex, the customer, didn't add all these things. This was just, I manually added this real quick. But we can go in here and edit, add whatever we need to add. And then you can add vaccinations if you'd like. You can add the certificate, administer date, expiration date, and some of those things. You can see the little gray dot, which means that they don't have a vaccination on file. You can see previous notes. You can see saved prices and then saved times. Next up, we have our customer portal here. So again, you can add in a new customer real easily here, or you can just go ahead and search into the customer. So you can see Ben Affleck. You can see if he's got a membership, what type of membership, additional information, tracking, notes, if he's an active, archived, or blocked. You can edit the address, the pets. You can actually also edit the phone number as well, since they can't do that. You can see their pets, their bookings. You can see recurring appointments you can create real easily there, packages, agreements, stage history, all those things, communications, see these failed, so that didn't work. And that was, we're testing. Again, you can see the referral information. And then you can log a past visit if they came in as a walk-in a different day, some of those things. Next, we have our bookings. So this is really important here. I think that this is the next most important thing, which is basically, as a groomer, how does the experience work for the groomer? So this is pretty much where they live, which is right here in the calendar. They're always in this. You can see a day view. You can see a month view. You can sort it by certain staff members, whatever you want to do. Obviously, the groomers will see just their schedule here. So we'll see on the 24th that they've got Max. They can click in here and they can actually see all the information, and then they can go ahead and check in. They can reschedule, mark as a no-show, or cancel. So let's go ahead and check in. So what's really cool here is we can see what groomer's doing it. We can see what service. We can add a service if they forgot and they want to do an add-on quick. You can confirm that check-in. And then now a timer has just started. Right now it is timing how long it is taking the groomer 1 to groom Max. Why is that important? Well, for data, of course. So if we're constantly running over on time for Max, then we know, hey, the owner can go in here as the owner of the operation. We say, hey, Max is always taking too long to groom. Let's go ahead and update that and add that time. So we can see how long did it take to do each dog. And then you can see maybe Max took 45 minutes for Kyla, but 45 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes for Alyssa, or whatever it might be. And that's how it would monitor that. So next thing, once they're done, they've already checked in. they're going to go ahead and mark as ready. This means this is going to send a text saying, hey, your dog is ready for pickup or going to be ready soon. And then right there, it has just sent them a text and an email saying your dog is ready for pickup. Next, the groomer has the option to complete the booking. That is when the customer comes to pick up, and this is the checkout process. So actual durations, we only groomed that dog for 1 minute. We can see it was 179 minutes under the planned time. Now, let's say that it was 190 minutes. We can see that it was 10 minutes over planned time. Now, this is a bug that we're working on as we speak, but this needs to say save this duration for Max. So if the actual duration was 190 minutes, you would click this, and then it would save this duration for the next time that Max books. Next, the groomer can actually rate the appointment. So they can rate it from 1 to 5, and then you can easily see that appointment in there. So as an owner, you can see, okay, the customer rated this a 1, the groomer rated this a 1. What happened there? Or maybe the owner of the shop says, okay, the customer rated a 5, the groomer rated a 1. What happened there? Or maybe the groomer rated a 5, the customer rated a 1. What happened there? And then notes for next time, of course. So next, you can see right here, you can complete the booking. You can either add the discounts, you can add custom items, so maybe a matting fee, maybe whatever that is, you can add that. And then the tip, if they want to do that, you can skip it for now, click next. And then if you're taking cash, then you would essentially take that. If you've got your Stripe set up, you can take the card payment in person, or you can do online. So if you do online and you click pay now, it's going to generate the invoice. It's going to email it to them. And then that's where they can log into their portal and see that it needs to be paid. So I marked it as complete, but essentially I would just click done, pay later, and then they would get the option. So a lot of salons run it that way. And then now you can see this staff rated a 5 out of 5. We're still awaiting the customer feedback. We can see that it took 10 minutes over. So as an owner, you can really see all the details that you need to see on that booking. And then, of course, we have our dashboard. So that is essentially everything. There's more to this platform. It's continuously evolving. We're continuously growing it. But one thing that's unique about the PetsMonk is that we're a development company. We're not building this on AI. We're not vibe coding this platform. We're not building it with AI to get broken one day. No, this is built by a team that has built many other platforms, including Freshland and others. And we have a lot of plans for this. We've got a great platform. It's a very good base platform. We have a lot to grow on. We have beta users that helped us shape this product. And if there's a feature that you'd like, just go ahead and send it to us. We've got the ability to track all of our requests. We see them all. We hear our customers, and we actually want to grow this for our customers. I am a grooming salon owner. I know how salons run on the day-to-day. I know how groomers can stress out about certain things. I know it's stressful from an owner perspective. I know it's stressful from a customer experience. Being a previous, I got 2 dogs. I used to go to other shops. So we've built this with all things in mind. Obviously, it's not perfect. We're still growing and building. But ultimately, we don't have some of the issues that those AI platforms have where there's constant bugs, constant lags, whatever it is. These are hosted on secure AWS servers. It's very well encrypted, very secure platform, and a very stable platform. We have 24/5 support. We're open 5 days a week, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. And then we do have emergency support on the weekends for if something were to come up. We have a team here in the US as well as India, so that way we can support around the clock. We are looking to build different platforms. If you do daycare, if you do boarding, we've got beta users in there. If you're a veterinarian, we've got beta users for that. Right now, we're really hitting on the retail and then the slot-based booking. We've got beta users there, but we're always willing to take some more ears and eyes to hear how we can do. We also have a ambassador program where there's a discount on your monthly fee. Ultimately, in return, you're an ambassador of our platform. You can apply on that as well. Just reach out to me at logan@thepetsoftware.com. And then we'll, of course, share all those links where you see this. We've got some really cool resources on our website here. Let me show you this. So you can obviously see a lot about our platform right here on our website, but we have some cool tools. We've got our free audit where we can show you your Google platform and then show how that does and how it looks against your competitors. And then we've also got our revenue calculator, so you can see how many dogs groomed per day, days worked per week, average ticket price, weeks worked per year. These are all things that we track in the PetsMonk, but you can obviously see how we differentiate from other companies. And again, like I said, we've built other platforms such as FreshLearn, and we're really excited to have you as a user. There's some great opportunity right now to get in while we are. We've got some great different packages. We've got our free plan forever, which is one user, one staff. You've got the CRM, all the basic tracking, all these things that you get. And then obviously, if you're a little more of an advanced groomer salon, you've got your monthly or annual pricing, and most people are on the pro plan. Now, obviously, if you do retail, inventory, some of those things, and you really want to scale your salon, that is our larger platform, which is $82 a month annually. And you've got unlimited SMS, which is really nice. Not a lot of platforms offer that, but we do. So that is where we're at. We're really excited to have you on board. Feel free to reach out to us. We're scheduled a demo right on the platform. Start for free, no credit card needed. Sign up, and we'll see you there.